We all set?
I believe so, yes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the City of East Providence special meeting, council meeting this evening, Thursday, September 12th, 7 p.m. I'd like to ask you all to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all.
Silence for the Red Sox. Mr. Council President, before we begin, just like to say I hope Councilwoman Souza feels better quickly.
Yes, Councilwoman Souza is not here this evening. She's not feeling well, and we all hope that she does feel better. So we're going to move right along. The special meeting is for ordinance for first passage of vote. Ordinance and revised ordinance of the City of East Providence, Rhode Island, 1998, as amended, entitled Administration. Madam Clerk, would you like to proceed with the reading on the writing? The entire ordinance?
What would you like?
The heading and...
Then Mr. Connolly's here to give an overview.
You could just read the heading, and Mr. Connolly will be here to give an overview on what we have in writing here.
This is an ordinance and revised ordinances of the City of East Providence, Rhode Island, 1998, as amended, entitled Administration, Article 2.
Mr. Connolly, Assistant City Solicitor.
So what you have before you is an ordinance that is designed to kind of give clarity to the area of the charter, given our change in government, on how the council's legislative... Better now?
There's no.
Sorry about that. What you have before you is an ordinance that is trying to articulate the process by which the council's legislative right to inquiry is balanced with the limitations against the council directing people within the administrative services. I think this is really an important step given all of our charter changes, the change in the form of government, which of course leads to a change in the historic practices and how the city's operated. From the top, what this really does is it calls out to the two sections of the charter, which are outline the council's powers of inquiry and its limitations in terms of directives to those in the administrative services. It gives clarity to how violations of those charter provisions would be dealt with. I think it's been kind of well established in East Providence that it is a misdemeanor for council members to violate this section of the charter. This gives clarity that we brought in municipal court, that it would be subject to a $1,000 fine if guilty, that appeals would go to the Superior Court, and because a misdemeanor is, of course, a criminal charge, the appeal to Superior Court would be de novo, and the Attorney General's office would have the opportunity to enter into the case. The Attorney General could either prosecute or actually dismiss. That's built in to make sure that such charges aren't just political in nature and unfounded. This is all really derived, again, from the charter. The remedy for the council, if its request for inquiry is denied, would be to use its subpoena powers, because the council can direct members of the administrative services through its subpoena powers. That is a new section of the charter, which I had the privilege to work with the Charter Commission and the previous council on drafting, and it requires a scope of the subpoena and the purposes of the subpoena. And with that in mind, we have set up an MOU. What this ordinance really functionally does is requires an MOU. I've drafted an MOU. It's my understanding that the council and the administration are planning to enter into this MOU. The MOU describes what the responsibilities of each would be, that there's a form. And so the councilor's right of inquiry would be via a form to the mayor's office. The mayor would be required to respond and potentially produce someone from the administrative services that their day-to-day duties has to do with the councilor's inquiry. If the mayor fails to do so, instead of having to set up an entire new subpoena process, the council can just use the form that they submitted requesting the inquiry as the grounds for the subpoena. So it sort of expedites the council's remedy. So what we're really trying to do is maintain the balance conceived of in the charter between the mayor and the administrative services and the council's right to inquiry, and we're just making them more clear. The form and the MOU outline, again, some of the rights and responsibilities. It's good. You can do it via email. There'll be a record of it. One inquiry per form. That the form needs to be submitted 2 days before the posting of the docket. That's just dealing with practical issues like posting on time and making sure that council agendas are reflective of what's going to be actually occurring at the meeting. I think it's a decent general overview. I can go into more specifics or answer questions.
Okay. At the pleasure of the council, anyone have any questions at this point in time?
No, I would like to say I appreciate the work of everybody that, put the time to try to bring this in for a landing. I know it's an issue that's sort of been bothering us for a while. I do appreciate the fact that the MOU found its way ultimately to this ordinance because the mayor, Councilman Morado, Mark, and I did sit down, I think, make a good faith effort at trying to kind of resolve this and to bring something back to the council that was passable. So I'm glad to see that is featured prominently as a part of this ordinance, and I will be happy to adhere to that going forward. I think it will lead to some good communication.
Mm-hmm. Any further comments from the council? Okay, with that being said, would anyone like to make a motion?
Mr. President, I would move approval.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Roderick for approval. Does anyone like to second that? We have a second by Councilman Morado. Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Councilman Cahoon.
Aye.
Councilman Morado.
Aye.
Council Vice President Rodrick.
Aye.
And Council President Brito.
Aye. Thank you. With that being said, we're going to move right along on to the next portion of this, which is rescinding the resolution that was passed during the previous council. Madam Clerk, would you please read the writing on this resolution, please?
Yes. It's a resolution rescinding City Council Resolution Number 37, Book 27, page 42, approved on August 20th, 2019, establishing a special election on November 5th, 2019, for the purpose of amending the city charter, sponsored by Councilman Morano and Councilwoman Souza.
Okay. So with this being said, we will be, as a council, rescinding the resolution that was passed on August 20th. At the pleasure of the council, does anyone have any questions at this point in time? With that being said,
Council President, I just want to add, I think the last council meeting, the question arose as to what was the last date that the city council could cancel the election. As you know, I think the city Board of Canvassers has to certify a ballot question by September 16th. Mm-hmm. They have a meeting scheduled. If this passes, this will obviously negate the need for that meeting, but October 16th is the date that the council could have gone up to before the ballots were printed, which the cost of that election would have been borne by the city.
okay. And if I'm
And I confirmed that orally with the Board of Elections and the Secretary of State's office.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. And if I'm not mistaken, the board of the canvassing board here, the local canvassing board, had already scheduled a meeting prior to this, so this will be on their docket because it was already scheduled. But with that being said, this resolution will rescind the vote that was on August 20th. Would anyone like to make a motion to rescind this resolution?
I'll make a motion to rescind.
All right, so
resolution.
we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Morado to rescind this resolution. Would anyone like to second that motion?
I'll second.
We have a seconded by Councilman Cahoon. Madam Clerk?
Councilman Cahoon.
Aye.
Councilman Morado.
Aye.
Council Vice President Rodrick.
Aye.
And Council President Brito.
Aye. With that being said, because this was a special meeting for both the ordinance and resolution, we're going to table the appointments till the next council meeting, which will be on Tuesday, September 17th. So essentially, the special meetings would be whatever that meeting is about. It should be on that topic and only on that topic. I think it's an invitation once we start adding other additional items to the docket. So I had the conversation with Councilman Roderick prior to the beginning of this meeting, and he's in favor of making this, tabling this until Tuesday.
I agree. Could I add one thing before adjournment?
Yes.
I'm sure I probably don't have to say this, but if Madam clerk could, first thing in the morning, let the Board of Canvassers know about the rescinding. I did see Mr. Barilla, and he was concerned, as Attorney Marcello said, about timing, so sooner they get something in their hands, they'll feel more comfortable.
And just for the record, these appointments, can you move them for Tuesday, September 17th as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mr. President, if I may, Mark, if it would be possible, could you forward us a Word version of that form, just so we've got it, and we can use that going forward?
All right.
Thank
Very
you.
good. With that being said, this concludes the special council meeting. Would anyone
President,
like to make a motion?
So move.
We have a motion on the floor to adjourn. Someone like to second that motion? And it's second.
Councilman Cahoon.
Aye.
Councilman Morato.
Aye.
Council Vice President Rodrick.
Aye.
And Council President Brito.
Aye. Thank you all.